guys, we are back again with another video. If not today, na mean say Ghana for lawyers and judges a bit more than papa. As a matter of fact, Ghana judges they was see a chobina because why can you jail someone for 70 years instead of 30 years? Somebody answer that question for me in the comment section because I don't understand. Why would Chief Justice to be Baffoie Bonnie give someone 30 years instead of 30 years? He gave the person 70 years in prison because he's thinking of his own safety. Because of your own safety, you are judging someone or putting someone to sentence for 70 years instead of 30 years. All right, guys, we are going to dive into the story and see why India Chief Justice to be Baffoie Bonnie was able to give Ataayi instead of 30 years, he gave him 70 years because it was say one shall not tell you free prison, but one shall not the near ten negotiation for so a day. I acquired from I say no. So we are going to dive into the story today and see why Baffoie Bonnie did that. And then I declare to say, I did the crown parents obedient mean Caribbean crown from Enfa. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't sit well in my head. My medulla oblongata, it doesn't sit well in there. So guys, we are going to dive into the story and see what really happened. But before we do, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. You like, you share, you subscribe, you comment down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and so that anytime I drop a new video, be announced on AKB. And as always, here's Stormline Studio. Let's dive into the story. Yesterday, any your vetting. Look at the type of argument and then heat in a sorry or honum because it wasn't easy. After markings and the Mahama Yerega, sisu or honum because it was bant and rant. Bant and rant. It wasn't easy. It wasn't a joke at all. But then finally, they were able to finalize the vet and everything went well. But then the things didn't go that well that much, sir, because then to a year between Afro-American and Mahama Yeragano, it was like World War II in the courtroom. But this one, vetting. All right, so after that, minority leader, and then in court, they can't sit in the meeting and whilst see say we have a chief justice, and then they are still trying to elect a new chief justice among TRC, so they walked out from the room. Pay from do not see anything beneficial in what is happening for the vetting room. Into the bus, I know walking out. And no, and I'm with me a proceeding because the NDC or the majority leader and the team, they have them numbers. But then the reaction concerning that moment now, majority leader, Emma. Afonyo markings back and forth, interrogation, interaction, back and forth. Nobody is saying anything about it. People are saying the majority leader /minority leader, which doesn't make sense to me. When we are talking of the law, we should make sure that we are going by the law, fair and then clean. But moving on, moment na and email course a minority leader then call for a movie out from the room. They left the room. After some leaving room, what happened near say they were asking Chief Justice to be Baffoie Bonnie. They were asking him questions upon questions. Questions upon questions, And on one can say, hey, yeah, to say, or no. At the current year, or jelly or the youth age in the time I know ya branty a pano. No who's seen who's bossy tano, that time, or jelly or be instead of 30 years, or man will be 70 years instead of 30 years. Why did he say Oma will be 70 years? Or say for his own safety, or doing one shining Nipano co prison about 30 years the years. Nipano co prison about 30 years, 100 and near negotiation for so. By 70 years the Oba, by that time the elector say, or no Baffoie Bonnie and will woo cocra da. Oh, who the track pine. Say you who the track when you saw Basamado. Or be any pebiana, I and bonnet. Aside that, the oh, who the track. na Baffoie Bonnie wo kan sa no dwuno yere no ma ho de ebia na do na be waja o yere no ma wo but o yere no man de they will still be here. Or he can go and then what offend them. Bonnie ko person o de omo ye no obetin de omo. So let's go and then watch the video. Chief Justice to be Baffoie Bonnie, Paul Baffoie Bonnie, Eka. And then when we come back, we are going to continue.
We sit in Accra here. When a magistrate at Gosu decides to send the boy to prison for 3 years, we sit in Accra here and say the man stole only a bunch of plantains. Do you know what it means to, what the bunch of plantains means to my mother? It's like stealing your car. You see? So, I mean, there are so many reasons. The magistrates and the judge, they are trained. They have this, the sentencing guidelines. They have them. But sometimes they have to go beyond it. In my youthful days, I gave somebody 70 years. Ataayi, I gave him 70 years. And what I told myself was that if Ataayi was given 30 years and he comes back, my family will be the first family he will attack. So by the time he comes back after 70 years, I'll be dead and gone. So while admitting that there are some people who shouldn't be there, there are also some people who are there because they have to be there. And honorable, we are always talking about a bunch of plantains, a crate of eggs. My mother is a Catholic, was a Catholic. I always tell this story. My mother was a Catholic. And you know, these old ladies, how when they said, in my time, the Catholic priest was a white person. So at the end of the year, my mother wants to go and then harvest a particular plantain that he has nurtured over the year. My mother was going to the farm every morning with a bent back. This young man was sitting under the shady tree. In our place, we call it in Kwankwanease, playing drafts. Every day, my mother passed by him to go to the farm. Now, 1 year on, it is time for harvest. My mother wants to go and harvest the plantain to come and give to the reverend minister, the white priest, who speaks Latin. And then this young man has gone there. And you know, when they go there, they don't cut the plantain. They move it from the top. So my mother will walk all the way to the place before realizing that the plantain has been harvested. We sit in Accra here. When a magistrate at Gosu decides to send the boy to prison for 3 years, we sit in Accra here and say the man stole only a bunch of plantains. Do you know what it means to, what the bunch of plantains means to my mother? It's like stealing your car. You see? So, I mean, there are so many reasons. The magistrates and the judge, they are trained. They have this, the sentencing guidelines. They have them. There are some people in the prisons who have been granted bail, actually. They have been granted bail, but they are still there because they can't meet the bail conditions. And not that the bail conditions are too high. Sometimes they are too high. But in most cases, they are not. In so many cases, they are not. And so you find somebody in prison, somebody on remand, who has been on remand for 5 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and those of us outside will say, hey, if this man had even pleaded guilty and he had been convicted, he would have spent only 3 years. But because he pleaded not guilty, he's on remand, and his case is not being tried, and he has spent 5 years. But that is not the fault of the judge. If you appear before the judge and you say you are not guilty, you are not guilty. The judge says you are released on bail. But there are some people, unless you say they should sign their own bail bond, they can't get anybody to come and bail them. Unless you release them on their own self-recognizance, they will not get anybody to come and bail them. I mean, there are some of them, and as a judge, we have conditions to grant bail. The main condition a judge looks at is this man I'm releasing on bail. Is he likely to come and stand trial? The person who is making efforts to run away because he has gone to see some foreign embassies to seek asylum, he's trying to run away already. The man has been granted bail once and he didn't appear. And so if a judge decides that, no, a person like that, I'm not going to grant to bail, it doesn't matter the offense that the person has committed. The judge may not grant bail. But even if the judge wants to grant bail, he will not give you bail on self-recognizance. So persons like that, they will not get people to stand surety for them, and they will be there.
So the issue I have on this specific issue, someone being vetted had the audacity and the publicity to state say, or no boapan or ma will be 70 years instead of 30 years. Why can we sit down and watch things like that? Because on one own will, he didn't use the law, he didn't go by the law, and one only safety or say, oh, so let me go by the rules, and then by the power invested in me, I will do it my way. And then he did it his way by giving the person 70 years, and then the person should go to prison because he's for his own safety, nipa neba one shine or be nipa ono nebusu for Bonnie. But that time baba na de no they were wuko da. That is say the be see chiri no emfa no ho. And then we just sat there, watch him say it. I see the whole social media, everything is gallivanting around. It is an enemy, of course, people are really talking about it. Say I didn't know as a judge and as a lawyer, ubetimi when name will be 70 years instead of 30 years. We can clearly testify, say, Ataayi, he wasn't in right state of mind, and as things that he was doing, it wasn't good. So let's say Ataayi was a very civilized person. He wasn't an armed robber, and as he didn't have anything going on. So let's say he was a civilized person. What would he have done? Was saying the panel life, or wasting life just like that. But we are here watching him do things that we want to do. How is that possible? How is that possible? Share your thoughts in the comment section for me. Please let me know what you guys think. And as always, my name is Humble here, Stormline Studio, and I'm out.